Hey, you legendary friends, I'm with the amazing animal medium and animal communicator, Annie Bourke. How you doing, Annie?
Hi Ed, great to finally meet you after all this time, after seeing you virtually on our network meetings.
I know, this is like Zoom but better. See, I'm like here and I can go, oh my God, you're a real person, you're real.
Yes, I am.
Now, I want to say, I thought we open up with my cat running away the other day, right? And that obviously, pardon the pun, but I had absolute kittens. And you're actually able to tap into my cat and help get some intel on where he was.
Yes,
Tell us all a bit about that.
Yeah, so finding lost animals is a very difficult thing to do. Sometimes they don't want to be found, so it can be quite challenging. But I just wanted the energy to know that he was still alive and that you'd find him, so that's what I confirmed first. Unfortunately, I then had some other commitments, and by the time I wanted to go back and reconnect and find out exactly where he was, you'd found him. So that was an absolutely fabulous outcome.
Yeah, and you gave me enough intel to sort of figure out where he was. So I want to ask you, right? So you're actually able to speak to animals in spirit, is that correct? Tell us all about it, Annie Bourke.
Okay. So animal communication is a telepathic process. So I connect in with the energy of the animal and start asking questions. It's a free will choice. So if the animal doesn't want to talk, that's their choice and I respect it. So whether I'm talking to an animal who's living or an animal in spirit, it's a similar process. It's connecting with the energy. It's having the intent that it's for their highest good and for their parents who are asking the questions as well. And usually they're extremely excited because that's the first time they've had a chance to send messages to their humans and tell them what they've been bursting to tell them for such a long time. So being a conduit to have messages from the humans going to the animal and messages back again is lovely. So particularly when the animal has passed over, and if the parents weren't home when the animal passed over, I can find out what went wrong. The animals have a great medical knowledge and they can explain what actually happened, which helps with the grief process if people are feeling particularly remorseful or regretting or they're blaming themselves for something that happened. So it really helps give a lot of peace of mind just knowing that the animal's soul has transitioned safely and that the soul endures. So we can keep connecting with them after they've passed. I've spoken to a dog who passed over more than 20 years ago and that soul is still there in heaven and I'm able to connect with them and answer questions and relay their messages. So it's an absolutely fascinating world. I've been doing this for over 10 years and every time I have a conversation with an animal, I learn something new. So all these new concepts are coming to me, like reincarnation of animal souls, which I knew nothing about 10 years ago, but with experiencing it with my animals and now with other people's animals, I know it's something that does happen, and that also really helps the grief process as well, because if you know that the soul of your animal is coming back in a different body, although you miss the physical presence of the animal that was with you, there's this huge sense of excitement and anticipation because you know that they're coming back and you want to see what you're going to recognise. And sometimes they look exactly the same and then it's really hard to call them by their new name because you just think they're the old animal that you had. And sometimes they might be completely different. I've just been speaking with a cat who's come back as a dog. So sometimes they come back as a different species, it might be a different sex, often a different fur colour pattern, because there's a certain body that they know that they have the opportunity to come back in, and so they have to take that opportunity to come back. And I've just now had lots of clients where that's happened. Unfortunately, it's not every animal's destiny to come back and have another lifetime with us in our lifetime, but when it does happen, it is such a gift to have that soul back with you again, to have that loving relationship with you all over again. It's really rewarding to be able to tell people that that's what's happening.
Oh my God, amazing, Annie Bourke. And I gotta say, it's incredible. I love how you psionically help speak to my cat and locate him, which is really good. And I'm sure a lot of people are thinking this. So when you had this psionic ability, did you, over 10 years ago, did you realise you had some psionic latent ability to speak to animals? When did it come up and you think...
What I've discovered is I always, as long as I can remember, have thought that my animals could understand everything that I was saying, and I really wish that I could communicate with them. And then I did a course and practiced with my own animals, and they helped me to finesse my skills and understand what happens. So I hear their voices in my head, speaking English, fortunately, and all different voices, just like talking to different humans. Sometimes I can hear when they're smiling or laughing. Some of them are real practical jokers and they just say things that just absolutely surprise me. I've had a horse sing to me, which I wasn't expecting either. And so then I've just practiced a lot with my own animals, with friends' animals. I've gone to zoos and practiced with animals there, and then been able to pass on messages to the animal keepers. So if they don't like the temperature in their enclosure, or they've got something medically wrong with them, that I can pass that information on as well. So it's been a very interesting journey. And we all do animal communication when we're little. So if you look at little kids, they squat right down low and get up to the animal, and they will tell you what the animal said to them, and people just go, oh yes dear, that's very nice. But they're actually communicating with the animals, and then as we age, we just switch that channel off somehow. But the good news is we can reactivate it again, and we can learn how to communicate with our animals. Some of our animals are actually here to help teach us, and so once we know how to communicate with them, finally they can get to live their life purpose, which is to helping to teach us. So one of my girl cats who taught me how to communicate, when I finally realised she was here to teach me, and I asked her what she wanted to teach me, she said, about time. So she'd been waiting very patiently till I finally worked it out that that's what she was here to do. And yes, I've gone on and done that. She's passed over, but she's come back again. So she was one of the ones who taught me about reincarnation. So I'm very lucky, but our animals are with us all for a purpose. So some of mine are here with me to teach me, and they're also healers as well, to help support the healing work that I do for animals and their humans. Sometimes our animals actually take on some of our health issues for us. We don't ask them to do that, but it's something they like to do to be of service for us. And so sometimes the animal and the human need some healing support. So that's something that I offer as well.
Annie, we appreciate you, love your work, and I presume people can hit you up on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. My name is Annie Bourke, and Cosmic Heart Intuitive is my business, so you'll be able to find me on LinkedIn.
Annie, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ed. It's been lovely to talk to you and to finally meet you.